So we're going to have to improvise here. Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It is Monday, April 28th. It's about 85 degrees. It's 76 degrees, overcast. The humidity is 82. If y'all ever want to see the weather going on here at Jerome Bee Farm, download the app called PWS Monitor, and my weather station is called KOKNEWCA26, and you can always check the weather here for you weather bugs out there. So it's kind of neat. It's right up there by the house, and it's hooked to a wireless deal. PWS Monitor is the app, and then you search for that. You can also search for weather stations that are in your local area, so you don't have to put up a weather station. You could just use somebody else's. So but I check out other people's around here. So today I didn't get on here to talk about the weather, but the weather, so the reason I brought that up, the humidity, is we're in a tornado watch, and the storms are kicking up to the southwest of here, and they usually go northeast. So I gotta get in here and get some stuff done before all that gets here, and there's a pretty good chance of tornado outbreak all across the Midwest here. So once I get done here, I got to run up to the storm shelter, and I got to sweep out all the black widows. My wife says that's my job, so I got to get this done and get out there and do that up there. So a little bit of an update. Got all the queens in. Some didn't emerge. Not sure what happened. The two that emerged early may have went and stung some of the others, but they were in that wood holder, so the sides were protected. So if they stung it, it would have had to been from the very bottom. So I don't know if they were just duds, but they did have, half-developed queens in there that were kind of turning dark, like just something went wrong with them. I don't know what happened. So yesterday, Sunday, weather was like this, except it had been raining pretty much all day. Bees weren't flying much. Sun did come out a little bit, and I came down and walked down here because after all that rain, we got 7 inches of rain over the weekend, by the way. And pond is full, creek's running. I'll put some video of that in here. But they said it's the second wettest April on record for central Oklahoma. But so I walked down here, and there was some bees flying. There was some orientation flights going on, and I looked in all the trees for swarms, didn't see any. So I started walking back to the house, and then all of a sudden just a bunch of bees passed me, and they weren't in a tight clump. They were just kind of all over, zigzagging, and I just kind of hung out and watched them. And then they finally kind of organized and got together in a hackberry tree up on the hill where sometimes swarms land, and it was a little bitty swarm about the size of a softball. So I used my swarm catcher that someone sent me, and I don't recall the name. It's up there in the barn, but thank you for sending me that gift. So I did use it. I put it onto a painter's pole. I put an old brood frame up there, and that was perfect for catching that little swarm. They just crawled right onto that, probably 3/4 of them the first try. And when I lowered it down, I found the queen. It was a virgin queen. I put her in a clip. I put it back up there, got most of the rest. I shook the limb a little bit, and is way high. I shook it with the pole, and then I just set an empty brood frame up there, and the ones that were flying, they all landed on that brood frame. So I got pretty much every bee out of that swarm. Brought it down to location 33, so they're over there. I left that queen in a clip in there, so that's one of the things I need to do. I need to release her, and there's 4 old frames in there, and one of them is a brood frame that I pulled out of hive 19. So it had some larvae, some capped, and it was kind of a spotty pattern. So 19's not a really good queen. So I'm just picking on that because it's not going to make any honey anyway. And also, I was going to do a second round of grafting. So I came down here, I was all fired up, going to get it done, and I got into my cell builder. The queen is in the bottom under an excluder. The top looked fine. I got into the bottom and was going to get ready to set it up, and it's got swarm cells in it. So instead of doing more grafts, I just did some swarm cell splits, and the 2 hives there, 14, 15, those are swarm cell splits. I'm not going to mess with them, just going to leave them alone. But I didn't find my queen in Hive 99, my cell builder. So I want to go back through there, see if I can find that queen, and I honestly can't remember if I left a queen cell in there or not, just in case. I can't remember. So I need to get in there and see what's going on with 99. And if I do see that queen, I will, first of all, she needs marked. I'll take care of that and just see what's going on with that hive. So that's something I need to take care of. And that's all I'm going to do in this video, so let's get started. Okay, here's hive 33. And I did show some grass there in the front of it, kind of as a entrance blocker. But there's a few dead bees right there, which is kind of odd. And I did see one live bee kind of hanging out in there, so I don't know. We might not find anything in here. Well, one thing we'll find a queen in a clip. So let's get in there and see what it looks like. Yeah, so the camera's tripod's literally standing in water. Like I said, we got 7 inches of rain. Looks okay. I see a few bees here. Not as many as I'd like to see. I turned it kind of sideways too, just for orientation purposes. So the swarm was about the size of a softball. It was very small. And well, there's a drone in there with her. I'll give you a shot of that here in a second. I'm curious to see how many bees are in here. There's a bunch of dead bees down in there. That's weird. I think what happened was we had a fight. So the swarm probably lost out to the brood frame bees. I don't know. I've never seen that. I've put them together before like that, never had an issue. But there's sure enough a bunch of dead bees in the bottom. So this has got some old pollen. See if I can get you a shot of that. Yeah, look at that. I wonder if there's a queen in there. The way they're around that clip, I would assume there is. So when I pulled that brood frame, there was no queen on it. I found the queen before I brought that frame over here. I found her and put her in a clip. I keep seeing that drone. Yeah, she's in there. She's right there along the bottom. Now going to the top. Yeah, she's right there on the bottom. No, wait, that's that drone. Where is she? She's on the right hand side. Well, it'd help if I'd hold that right in the camera. Well, trust me, she's in there and she's doing fine. I don't think having that grass over the front would have caused those bees to die like that, but I think there was a knockout drag out. So here's the brood frame and the nurse bees. So the nurse bees stayed. Yeah, I'd say that swarm, most of it just took an ass whipping, and what didn't die there on the bottom made it out the front, would be my guess. That is weird. Let me get this all back together before they decide to leave. Ooh, there's a wax moth. Ah! Got that sucker. Well, there's enough bees in here to get this queen mated, and that brood will hatch out too. That'll strengthen it a little bit. But I'm not going to do anything drastic right now. Get this queen released. So they look to be friendly towards this queen. So hopefully she don't just fly off. There, she went right on in there. Perfect. All right, let's get this closed up and get out of here. Let's see, I'm gonna put a feeder on here. I gave them a frame with some nectar right there. They still got a little bit. There's a bunch of dead bees right there. Yeah, that's pretty much that entire swarm got taken out, would be my guess. So I literally just moved that frame over, and I put the frame on one side and the swarm was on the other. Get this Saracel nuke feeder on there from New Zealand. Get these dead bees off the entrance. I want to reduce this down a little bit. There we go. And I'm only going to put a little bit in here because there's not a lot of bees in here. That's good right there for now. Be sure and pull this lid back so this notch is closed off. Okay, let's get on over to the cell finisher starter number 99. Okay, here's number 99, the cell starter. So the red is where the queen was, and I hope still is. And I'm thinking I left some cells in there because I could not find that queen. But I hate to lose her because she's a good queen. And it has a excluder and 2 supers. So we'll get those supers off of there. And hopefully I can find that queen. And if we do, and there's cells in there, I'll go ahead and pull her off into a nuke by herself. So stop the swarm. I meant to get back in here a lot sooner, but with all the rain we had, just couldn't do it. No weight to that yet. Boy, look at that. I think some of this is because of the weather. It's like this smoker went out on me. There we go. Some of this is due to the high population in here, which I pulled 2 splits out of it. There's no weight to this, so it's all bees, no honey. Yeah, not a good day to do an inspection. Cloud cover. It's been rainy. Yeah, that little swarm quite possibly could have came from this hive here, from one of those swarm cells. If I left one, I'm thinking I did. Yeah, here's my thing marked right here, ×5. I usually don't leave 5, but I did for some reason. But the reason I left any at all is because I could not find that queen. There was so many bees in here, kind of like right now. That's a solid slab of honey, which is left over from last year. I usually will leave like 2, maybe 3 cells max. Not sure what I was thinking. So this queen is not marked, and she's a slight Italian mix. She's got a lighter colored butt, so that's my assumption. That's a food frame. I don't want to use any more smoke because that queen's in here. Don't want to run her down into the bottom. They're drawing this out nicely. No queen. No queen, no eggs. Well, that's pretty when they're drawing new comb. No queen, no eggs. Same deal. I really wouldn't expect to see her here, but I'm just looking everywhere best I can. So this next frame is the one with the cells. What I might find is a virgin queen. If I do, I'll put her in a clip in case I find a second one. So a lot of times you'll see those virgin queens on the same frame that they came from. That cell is not opened yet. I just see one, so there must be 4 on the other side. Don't see my queen. Yeah, 4 cells right there, not opened. So with the looks of this hive, as strong as it is, I'd say that queen's still in here and they have not swarmed. And she shouldn't be up above this box because of the queen excluder. No queen, no eggs. No queen, no eggs. Man, I really love this Guardian veil with the see-through lens on it. I can search for those queens so much easier. This is a pollen frame for the most part. My bee brush is not in my trailer, so we're going to have to improvise here. I could shake these off, but you don't want to shake queen cells. One last look for that queen. Nope. Well, there's some nice looking ones, aren't they? Okay, I'm gonna leave that one because that's the best looking one. And I'm gonna try for this one here, but just out of convenience. So this is plastic foundation, so the odds are not good, because a lot of times the top of that cell's right against the plastic. So when they're on the bottom on this wood, you can cut into the wood and get them, but when they're like this, a lot of times you can't get a good queenectomy. Oh, there's a small hive beetle, but we'll do our best. If you don't graft, this is the next best thing. This is what I've done. Look at that bee drinking that spooge from the drone brood, or the worker brood that got cut. Nothing goes to waste. Okay, cross your fingers that we got it. We didn't expose the queen. Getting as close to that plastic as I can. That liquid's from the other brood. Ah, looks like we got it. I did not interfere, did not break into the queen cell. Okay, there's one on the other side, so I'm going to lay this over where these 3 are pointed down here where I'm not going to squish them. Look, we got bees emerging. How about that? All right, let's flip this over. I'm going to leave those 3. That bee right there is one that just emerged. So's that one. So we'll try and get this little one here. This is one you would normally want to destroy if you left. You wouldn't want to leave this in there, because this one, what if it hatched out first and went and killed all the the other good ones, nice sized ones. It's probably not even worth hatching, but we'll give it a try just to see what happens. Gosh, that's so little. I can't imagine that being a good queen. I bet there's nothing in there. Let's open it just to see. It's too little to be a good queen, so no sense in doing anything with it. Yeah, it's just royal jelly, no queen larva. So we left them 3. Should I try one more? Let's try this one on the end. Easiest to get to. That way we might be able to hatch out 2. And that's a good sized one, so if successful, look out. That should be a nice queen. I believe we got it. Let's get that back in the hive. There's our 2 harvested cells. Don't lay these out on tin like that if it's hot. It's overcast and it's not hot out today. Okay, darn it, never found that queen. So let's get up to the apartment and get these queen cells here in the incubator and finish this video off. Okay, I got the incubator up here, and I put a little bit of water in the bottom, like for your hatching eggs. So I went ahead and put these rags over that to cover that up so the queen can't get down there. These 2 rags here are wet, and this is a sponge that's wet also. So that should help with the humidity. So I want to put some water, and I think that's why I had a couple deceased on me before that hatched out. I didn't have, so I smeared a little bit of water, sugar water on the side and honey, and I think maybe I didn't get enough, and they hatched out probably overnight. I went to work the next day and came back, so it was all that time they were in there without anything to eat. So I think that's why 2 of them died. So I'm going to just set these in the top of this, and I'm going to put the food into these caps here. I'm going to put some honey on one side, some water in the other, and close it up, and then I'll set that in there, and I'll set these cages in here. I'll just set them up like that because there's only 2. Someone did leave a comment about using test tube holders, and I ordered some. It's not put together yet, but that's the bottom. But you can see how these will fit in there, and that'll hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That'll hold 24 of these little curlers, and just set them in there. You can knock them around and they won't fall over. It needs to be put together. There's actually 3 of them in here. Put a link to this in the video description if you want to check it out. Let me get a little bit of water in there on one side. And then I'll put honey on the other. This is some of my 2024 honey, last year's. Put that on the opposite side. Close that up and keep it vertical. So if these bees hatch out, they're going to have a smorgasbord. All right. I think these will just sit right on top of there. Yep. Without putting any pressure on it, I'm just going to let it kind of just hang there. Yeah, this one works even better because it's fatter at the top. All right. I think that'll actually contain them too. Okay, it was set on 93 degrees. Yep, it's still on 93. Says the humidity's 87, so that's good. It's going to be plenty humid in there. It's 70 degrees in there right now, so it won't take long to warm up. And there goes the storm watching helicopter heading to the southwest to see the storms kicking up down there. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, that was weird about that little swarm and all those dead bees, so I think it was a fight, and that's what happened there. Couldn't find that queen, but we got 2 of her cells. So she's a nice queen, so if I grafted from one, that would be one I would want her offspring from. In fact, I tried to graft out of that before, but there wasn't enough royal jelly in her eggs where she had laid the larva up there, because I had depleted it so much to make that cell builder. And she didn't have that many resources or bees up where she was at up in the top. So that's going to be it. Give me a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed it, and please subscribe if you haven't. Closing in on 14,000, so we'll catch you on the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care.